free agency episode. Day one, baby. Pam, 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 pam. Even if you're driving.
Do not clap.
Even if you are
Please
driving,
don't
ladies
clap.
and gentlemen.
Please don't clap if you're driving.
Even if you're driving, give
Please
it up.
clap.
It was an interesting free agency day. It's not over, by the way. It's 11:05 Eastern, just for complete transparency. Don't kill us if Shams drops a Shams wow at 2 o'clock in the morning Eastern and we're not here to cover it. It's because we're tired. Kwab has work at like 6 in the morning.
I got to be up at actually 4, so that's great.
Let's get into it then. To me, the biggest news, or I guess the biggest ShamWow, or the most consequential ShamWow, I should say, was the Nuggets-Nets trade involving Cam Johnson going to the Nuggets for Michael Porter Jr. The Nets also receive a future first-round pick, unprotected. Shout out to y'all.
Womp womp.
Before we talk about Nuggets in general, what do you think about that trade from the Nuggets' perspective, Kwab?
From the Nuggets' perspective, it's a great trade because it freed up money for them to be able to actually, as we're also going to talk about, for them to also sign Bruce Brown.
Yes,
so
we'll that in a second.
Yeah, essentially, it was they traded Michael Porter Jr. for Cam Johnson and Bruce Brown.
Yeah,
and the draft pick they gave up was I think it was a 2035 draft pick, which is like, yeah, we're gonna be scouting 6th graders I'm a Nets fan, so that's what we're going to do now. But getting a player of Cam Johnson's level, like he's a different player than Michael Porter Jr., but he's also similar in the sense that he's also a movement shooter. He's a very capable defender. He put up, if you look up their numbers, they have very comparable numbers, and
they have almost identical numbers, which to me shows why stats don't tell the whole story. I'll get into it. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean the difference is that one person was getting passes from Nickeil Jokic in that system, and Cam was playing on the Nets. Where yes, he got a lot of open shots, but it's completely different system. So you can see how Cam would be like a great fit for that team. Yeah, I when I saw the trade, I was like, that's great for the Nuggets. Like they did a lot of good work, like to start a free agency. I don't think they're done yet.
Same. They still have money.
They still have money. I still think they need another ball handler, maybe another point guard, which is a possibility, or maybe another big. I know there's rumors about them. They possibly want Al Horford as a backup. So that would be, to me, that would be great for them. But adding Cam in this trade from Michael Porter Jr., who had a rough playoffs because of all the injuries. Yeah. But adding Cam, who's very reliable, great shooter, I think that's wonderful trade for the Nuggets.
I effing love it for the Nuggets. Yeah. Absolutely love it for the Nuggets. You know, when we talked about the Nuggets last year, during the whole year, even the playoffs, we're not talking about their offense going quiet. We're not talking about they can't score the basketball. That has nothing to do with the problems with the Nuggets. The problems was the Nuggets can't guard many people, right? And Michael Porter Jr. is somebody who has been a liability on defense for most of his career. At times, he's been okay. But Cam is a significant upgrade. And you're not losing much, honestly, in that system. You're not losing much on the offensive end. Yeah, you could argue that Michael Porter Jr. is a better pure scorer or has a better shot than Cam. But Cam himself can score the basketball. Yeah, I mean, as you said before, same numbers. To me, that's a massive upgrade. You get a better defender. You get somebody who's not going to miss a beat on the offensive end. He does not need to touch the ball. You could put him in the corner just like you did with Michael Porter Jr., and he can shoot threes. Upgrade. Right there alone, it's an upgrade. I think it's a fantastic move by the Nuggets. You address what you needed most, which was defense. You know, during the playoffs, they had to go zone. They had no other choice but to play a zone. Yeah. And, you know, credit to them. They got creative with it. They were very physical at times. They messed up the Thunder at times. But at some point, you got to be a team that can just get up on you and force turnovers and put pressure on the ball and go man-to-man and go full court. Like, you saw what the Pacers did. You saw what the Thunder did all year. And to me, like, obviously, I don't think this takes the Nuggets from, like, a bad or average defensive team to one of the best defensive teams in the league. But it sure as hell does a lot to patch up a few holes there. And now, moving over to, we'll talk about it now, getting Bruce Brown, somebody who is beloved by the fan base because of him helping the Nuggets win a championship. You got him back. He knows exactly what he has to do in his role in order to succeed. He already has chemistry with these guys. You know, you're going to have a playmaker off the bench now. To me, I think the Nuggets hit a home run today, an absolute home run. And then on top of it, to what you mentioned, they still have money to get another player. And if that player's Al Horford, who can also stretch the floor, who can also guard the paint, who can also pass the basketball, and who has always been a good defender his whole career, the Nuggets have done nothing but massively upgrade and made themselves contenders again. No doubt. You have the best player in the league, and you just got better. While the other team that you lost to, the OKC Thunder, that you lost to in 7 games, really hasn't added anything yet. To me, you can make the case the Nuggets are the best team in the West right now.
You could. You
can. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying they are.
Yeah.
So don't jump all over me. But to me, and we'll talk about another team later, there are about 3 teams.
Yeah. I mean,
right now that you're like, oh.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe 4. I mean, depending how free agency ends, and there's going to be trades and all that good stuff. We'll see.
Yeah.
I love capital LOVE what the Nuggets did today.
Yeah, it was very, very happy for them. Like, was it? Wow, I'm drawing a big blank all of a sudden. Jesus. Yeah, well, very, very happy for them. Like, with Jokic made the point that, like, they were like, hey, this is not a championship team when after they lost. So making these moves, they're trying to get back to their championship window and get back to their winning ways. They had a bunch of rough stretches last year with, like, especially with injuries and such, and to see how well they still played even after the firing their coach and then the general manager, all that, even with all that happening, they were able to take the Thunder to 7 games, which was very impressive because, again, they have Nickeil Jokic, who is arguably the best player in the league or in the world. So adding Cam.
You have Aaron Gordon hurt. You have Michael Porter Jr. hurt.
Yeah.
Like, come on, bro. Like, we said this all year, and I'm going to give us some credit, Kwab. I'm going to dap you over here. Dap. Yo, because we had the Nuggets, like, high in our power rankings all year, and people would kill us. Like, why the Nuggets? And it's like because they have Nikola Jokic, and when it comes to the playoffs, like, there's not many teams I trust more than the Nuggets. And I think it kind of justified why we had them so high in the power rankings all year. They took the champions 7 games.
It took them 7 games.
Injured starters.
Yeah.
So to me, I don't know, man. It's going to be very interesting to see how the rest of the season, free agency shapes out, the offseason shapes out. But right now, man, the West is looking like a gauntlet, man. It looked like a gauntlet last year. Now it's looking even more like a gauntlet for sure.
Yeah, it's looking crazy. And you also you want to see what else the Nuggets are going to do, and you also hope that, especially what your young players are going to look like as for next season with like Julian Strother, drawing a blank, Peyton Watson, and your backup guard Jalen Pickett, who showed some flashes too when he got some playing time. So you wonder what that's going to look like for them too. But great moves by them so far. Like great moves by them.
Yeah. Let's talk about the net side of the deal. Kwab, you get Michael Porter Jr. Obviously, the injury history there, a lot of talent. The future first-round pick, which you can't use for years. So I guess that's not really going to excite you right now. What are your thoughts from a Nets fan's perspective?
Hated it. My thing was that it was very well known that Cam was going to get traded. Yeah. I just thought there might have been some better options out there for maybe some draft picks or not 6th graders. So like that's maybe where my mindset was. But getting Michael Porter Jr., who is a bit younger than Cam Johnson, kind of can fit the same role he played for the team. It also kind of justifies why the Nets drafted like six people that can pass in this draft, because that's
Kofi tweeted that out.
Yeah, like which makes sense. Like it makes sense because you're gonna put those players around Cam Thomas and now Michael Porter Jr. and just tell them like, yo, let's go the cook 'em offense. Like, and you have people that's
ass offense.
Yeah, cook 'em ass off. So it is what it is. So initially I was like, I didn't really like it, but I understood it. So great. To me, great trade for the Nuggets. To me incomplete for the Nets. We'll see how that looks. Hopefully Porter is healthy, but it's a great trade for the Nuggets.
All right, let's move on to another team that I think is absolutely kicking ass, and you can argue probably has had the best offseason overall.
Easily.
And that's the Houston Rockets. They sign DFS, Dorian Finney-Smith. They re-sign Jabari. They get Clint Capella just for vibes. I mean, that's what it felt like to me. It was kind of like we're going to win the chip and we're going to get you a ring just for being on the squad. We don't care if you get playing time or not. But getting DFS, bro, this team, I saw, I think it was Legion Hoops posted like, who's stopping this team? And it was like Fred VanVleet, Kevin Durant, DFS, Jabari, and Şengün. And it's like, you don't even have Amen Thompson in this.
Like, where's Amen?
Like, this is crazy. Like, the Rockets are absolutely stacked. They added shooting. They added KD, both who are good defensively. I love what the Rockets are doing. I will go to bat. I will go to war with anybody who says they are not contenders. This team is a contending team to not just win the West, but to win the championship. Again, whether it's OKC, Denver, Houston, however you want to rank those teams right now, and you can talk other teams as well. I'm not counting out other teams just for this episode's sake who we're talking about. How are they not contenders? How did they not get substantially better than they were last year as a 2 seed? They were the 2 seed last year. Added Kevin Durant, added DFS. What you couldn't have scripted a better offseason if you're a Rockets fan.
Yeah, you couldn't. You're basically you lost Jalen Green and Dylan Brooks and added Kevin Durant and Dorian Finney-Smith. If you want to look at it that way, and Clint Capella, like you said, like
for vibes. He's there for vibes.
For vibes. I mean, I'll get on the Clint Capella side, and which I think confused a couple of people. Confused me when I saw. I was like, really? But yeah, I was getting DFS. Great pickup. Like, great pickup as a wing defender, as a corner shooter. Know what he's capable of, and he's not a ball stopper. Like, he's not gonna hold on to the ball. He just makes quick moves, hits his shots. Can open up the floor for Şengün and other players. Like, these moves that Stone has made have been just top notch, just ridiculous. And even adding Clint Capella, we saw last year when they went to that double big lineup a lot. Like, having Capella also as an option for that kind of shows that maybe they'll go into it more. Or even if they know that they'll have to face a team like the Nuggets and have to go through Jokic, you have 3 different centers you can throw at him now.
Yeah,
like, you have 3 legit starting centers who give you different things that you can throw in there. Their rotation is crazy, like, right now, and there's rumors that they still might make some more moves. I don't know what's going to happen with Cam Whitmore, if he's staying or not.
No, he's gone. There's no way they keep him.
If they do keep him, like, if that's the case, they do keep him, like, that's still that will surprise me. But it, like you said, there's stuff out there that he's going to be gone. But you still have Amen Thompson, you have Tari Eason, like Jae'Sean Tate,
who's like
Jeff Green, who's like just still will dunk on somebody, catch a body.
And these are people who are not going to get playing time in the playoffs either. Like, let's be honest. Like, but like in the regular season, like, this depth matters. Like, Jae'Sean Tate's going to get. There's going to be games where he's going to play. There's going to be games where Jeff Green plays. It just happens throughout the regular season. And the fact that you can bring those guys onto the court, like, as like emergency, is ridiculous.
Like, it's ridiculous. So to me, I would say I tweeted out, I don't think nobody else has had a better offseason than the Rockets. Like, they're winning right now. To me, it's ridiculous. Like we said before when we were talking about the Nuggets, the West is gonna be crazy next year. Like, gonna be crazy next year. So right now, to us, are the top 3 teams in the West are the Thunder, the Rockets, and the Nuggets right now. Just like hands down. You could make the case that one of those 3 teams can come out the West and win the championship just because of these moves that have been made in the offseason.
Let's talk about the other winner, or one of the huge winners of the offseason too, on the East Coast, and that's the Atlanta Hawks. Hate to say it, but it's true. My Knicks are going to have to worry about the Atlanta Hawks next year. I actually think the Hawks are a horrible matchup for the Knicks. Don't want to get into that specifically, but love what the Hawks have done this offseason. They added KP now in day 1 of free agency. They add Nickeil Alexander-Walker. They add Luke Kennard. Just love what they're doing here. A lot of depth. They get Okongwu's probably getting a lot of playing time now that Clint Capella's gone. You open up, a lot of minutes for him. With Trae Young, what you got to do is you got to surround him with shooters, people who can run the pick and roll and who can defend their ass off. And you do that with Nickeil Alexander-Walker. Luke Kennard can hit the three, one of the best three-point shooters in the league. You add KP, who can stretch the floor, also protect the rim, play, guard 4s and 5s. I think the Hawks have had such a good offseason that I'm actually thinking that, to me right now, the tiers in the East are like Cavs and Knicks up top, and it's only because of how they finished last year. I don't know how good the Magic and Hawks are going to be, but to me, they're right there. I don't know. It wouldn't shock me if either the Magic or the Hawks finish as the 2 seed next year, specifically the Hawks.
I mean, I might put the Hawks over the Knicks right now, bro.
I wouldn't blame you. I'm not gonna lie.
I might put the Hawks over the Knicks just because we'll talk about the Knicks a little bit later. But some of the lineups the Hawks can throw out there are really ridiculous, and not just offensively, defensively.
Dyson Daniels gave Jalen Brunson even when Jalen was scoring on him, it was so freaking difficult.
Yeah, it's like you just said. I think I'm trying to remember who tweeted it. I think Nickeil. NBA he tweeted out that if in the game the Hawks lead by 2 and there's 13 seconds left, in the defensive lineup they can put out there with Nickeil, Dyson Daniels, Jalen Johnson, Ricochet, and Okongwu. That's a 5 they can put out there with just pure length. They can switch and lock down. That's crazy.
Yeah,
that's ridiculous.
Yeah,
that's ridiculous. And like you said, adding Luke Kennard, a great shooter, they've made solid moves this offseason. And if they have a healthy KP, I think that's to me that's the difference maker with them. If they have a healthy KP, that's a potential number 1 team in the East.
Wow.
Yeah, to me. Yeah, if they have a healthy KP with how well, I feel we got to the point where Trae Young has been so consistent.
He's so underrated.
He gets swept under the rug every
year. It's so
year.
Crazy to me. I mean, because obviously I'm a Knicks fan, so we chant F Trae Young outside the building of Madison Square Garden when we win.
Yeah.
I don't specifically, but the fan base does. I think people have forgotten how good Trae Young is, man. There's nobody I would rather have the ball in their hands with going off of a pick and roll, because he's unstoppable in a pick and roll situation. He really is. You just got to hope that he's missing his shot if he decides to pull it, because he can make every pass off of the pick and roll, and he can shoot off the pick and roll off the dribble. He's just impossible to guard.
And now you surround him with wings who can guard, who can hit shots, and a big like KP when he's healthy, who can hit shots, can spread the floor.
Right.
They have the potential to be the best team in the East.
Yeah, and to me, the problem with the Hawks also, the past few years, wasn't so much the offense either. It was defensively, they just couldn't stop teams when they needed to stop teams.
Yeah.
And now you had Dyson Daniels, which was a great pickup. Now you had Nickeil Alexander-Walker. KP again is someone who can guard the paint and can guard stretch bigs if need be. Again, KP has to be healthy. Jalen comes back. He's someone who could play. It's insane. What they've built. Shout out to, I know they have a new general manager. Forgive me for Hawks fans. I don't know his name. But they fired Landry Fields essentially.
Yeah.
And their new GM is doing work. Just turned around the whole franchise. Honestly, with some help with Landry, because I thought Landry made some good moves too, especially Dyson in particular. Yeah, gotta give the Hawks credit, man. I don't know if I'm ready to say they're the number 1 seed, but like I just said before, it wouldn't surprise me if either the Hawks or Magic, but specifically the Hawks, end up being your 2 seed, end up being a 3 seed somehow. Yeah. I thought going into this offseason, I thought it was very clear with the Halliburton injury, with the Tatum injury, with the Dame injury, that it was very clear it was Cavs, Knicks at the top, and everybody in the East is just kind of trying to catch up. I think you can make the case that the Hawks, we haven't seen them play, but you can make the case that the Hawks are in that tier now. And maybe the Magic too.
Yeah.
Maybe the Magic.
Yeah, like I said, it's potential is a scary word, but they have the potential to be the best team in the East to me.
All right, so Kwab, before we head out here, because there's a lot of moves. To me, I think we covered the biggest and the most impactful, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to ask you, what's one move that you would consider a sleeper, or that you think that people aren't really talking about, or one that you think is bigger than the NBA community is making it out to be.
The Brook Lopez to the Clippers
Why so?
move. I think one on the Clippers side to you have you add in another capable starting center in Brook to back up Zubac, like changes your team in the sense that you now with like somebody like Harden, he can play pick and roll with Zoo. Now having a center like Brook, he can play pick and pop. It
Yeah.
kind of it elevates them. Also, like Zoo is a very good defensive center, and so is Brook. So having two very top level defensive centers on your team who can both start helps that team greatly. But also, when I saw that trade, I was like, what does this mean for the Bucks? Because the rumor of like Giannis might ask out and all this happening, losing Brook, who has been a staple on that team because of his shot making, like his ability to stretch the floor, allows Giannis to operate in space so much,
Yeah.
and losing him is kind of big. So I don't know who the starting center for the Bucks is now. Is it
Jericho Sims.
they might start Bobby Portis. They might have to,
I
yeah, they might have to start Bobby Portis. I don't know if it's Jericho, like, but yeah. So that when I saw that, I was like, wow, that's a big move. Yeah, that was one that kind of like I was like, whoa, that's kind of crazy. What
okay.
about you? What's the move that kind of caught your eye?
I mean, outside the ones we talked about, I like Tyus Jones to the Magic
Okay.
because the Magic always had the knock on the Magic is like they can't score, right? Obviously, you get Jalen Suggs back. That's going to be a huge help. But Tyus is somebody who doesn't turn the ball over. He knows how to run an offense. Obviously, you have Anthony Black, who's on the dime first team. I fucks with you
Yeah.
team, so we love him. But I do think having Tyus like to fill in if someone gets hurt. I mean, if Jalen gets hurt again, you have somebody who can continue to run the offense, who can make it productive. Somebody who can lead the second unit, make it productive. I think him and Black can play together. I don't think that's going to be a problem. Um, you lose Cole Anthony and you replace him with somebody who's not as a prolific scorer that Cole can be because Cole shot terribly at the beginning of the season last year. But he's somebody who you're going to get efficient basketball, organized basketball, is going to help set up other players along the way. And I think right now, a team like the Magic, really all they need is depth, right? So like these little moves on the margins where it's Tyus Jones and no one's going to be like, oh, that's he's not a big name. Why does that matter so much? But these are the little moves that I think separate like the Magic from being, a first round exit to maybe an Eastern Conference Finals berth. These are little things that the great teams do that they make. For instance, like Aaron Wiggins for the OKC Thunder. You see how he performed in the finals. Like,
Yeah.
without Aaron Wiggins, they don't win. They don't win the
Good call.
championship. No one talks
Yeah.
about that. You want to talk about, the big three over there, but like it's little moves like that, little like drafting Aaron Wiggins in the second round and keeping and developing him, and having players like that on your roster, like the TJ McConnells for the Indiana Pacers, right?
Yeah.
Where the Pacers without TJ McConnell? When TJ McConnell signed with the Pacers, no one cared. So that's how I look at Tyus, where it's like I think he can help out the Magic in that way, in the way that the Magic need him, because the Magic need offense, and he's not someone who's going to score, but he's somebody who can get you organized. He's somebody who can create for others, and I think the Magic really need that.
Yeah. Agree with that.
All right, before we head out of here, Knicks signed Jordan Clarkson.
Knicks still don't have a coach.
Oh
Knicks
man!
still don't have
Listen, this show is called The Dime. It's called The Dime because I originally started. It was this pod by myself, and I got other guests, and Kwab came around a few years later. But I started called The Dime because it was fitting because I'm a pass first point guard. I love ball movement. I love making the extra pass. I love players who look out for each other, drive, kick, making the right pass, team basketball, fluid basketball, chemistry. That's all you need to know about what I think about Jordan Clarkson. All right.
No, wait, hold on. I'm wait, before, like, okay, this is all I'm gonna say. With Jordan Clarkson, because nobody watches Utah, he actually had a really good year playmaking
it's
wise.
not that he's not good.
I just know because of who he is. I get it. So, but hey, I think all these moves, like with the Knicks making this move, I was like, okay, awesome. Who's the coach? That's what they need to need to
Yeah.
figure out first before anything happens. Who's the coach?
And
So
listen, I'll say this. Positive. The Knicks need help on their bench, man.
yeah,
They desperately need help on their bench, someone to score. And at the end of the day, you get somebody who can, like, you could put the ball in their hands and he can get you like 15 to 20 off the bench. They don't really have that. Deuce, if he gets hot, can get you like 15. But Jordan Clarkson can get you 20 a night if you tell him,
Easily.
Jordan, go get me 20.
Go get 20. Yeah, he's like
I mean,
that.
he might take 27 shots in doing so. But he can do it. So there is positives here. I'm not going to act like Jordan Clarkson's a bum. He's not a bum. For me, I just rather the Knicks sign someone like a Tyus Jones who, can run point guard and do things of that nature. It is what it is, man. I'm just going to have to deal with it. He's going to drive me crazy. It's just, if you were to build a player in a lab that would annoy the shit out of me,
it's gonna be a great year for the Knicks. Yeah. Also, I guess we want to touch on this for our Cavs fans, who follow this page and
moment of silence.
who know me. Yeah. After the Alonzo trade was made, I was like, we did a reaction, and my first.
You were right. I was wrong.
My first one was like, yo, what does this mean for Ty?
What does this
mean for Ty Jerome, bro?
What does
this mean for Ty Jerome? And yeah, Ty is out of there. Ty's now on the Memphis Grizzlies. Yeah, Ty, no more Ty propaganda for the Cavs. Happy for him. He got a little bit of a bag. I think the sad thing about it is, like, it's crazy. He lost money because of the Pacers series. So he lost a lot of money because of the Pacers series. Yeah. I'm just gonna say that, but. Yeah, no more Ty Jerome on the Cavs. So
everybody, bow your heads.
Bow your heads a little bit. It's like we're acting like the man died. He just signed on a team. Like, he just signed to us. Relax.
Say goodbye. I'm gonna run Ty Jerome clips here. Sing with me, Kwab. Everybody in the car, even if you're driving.
Do not sing if you're driving. Do not sing if you're driving.
There's Ty Jerome clips playing right now. I'll bring them back.
I'm trying not to laugh because
I thought
you're not gonna put in the
clip. I'm seriously putting Ty Jerome clips.
Okay, fine.
Tomorrow. R.I.P. Ty Jerome, Cleveland Cavaliers career. Listen, we love Ty. Another dime first team. I fucks with you selection.
Yeah.
Obviously didn't have a good Pacers series. Obviously lost some money from that series, but you cannot deny his production off the bench. If you're a Grizzlies fan, hopefully that was an anomaly. Maybe he learns from it. Maybe it was just a bad series. You don't know what was going on, but players play bad sometimes, and it cost him some money, and it probably cost him. I wonder if the Cavs front office changed their mind on him because of that series. I actually wonder how it would have went with negotiations if he played well that series, because I thought they were re-signing him for sure. And I was wrong about that. In the Lonzo video that we did, I was like, no, they're going to play them together. What are you guys talking about? And then, like, an hour later, they signed Sam Morrell, and I was like, oh, okay. And then the reports started coming out. Ty Jerome was unlikely to come back, and
yeah, he's gone.
Yeah, that's what happened.
Yeah.
I hope you guys enjoyed those slow motion highlights of Ty Jerome. We'd never done highlights in dime ever. All right, listen. Before we get out of here, obviously, just go through the quick list. The Grizzlies also signed Cam Spencer, extended Jaren Jackson Jr., and re-signed Santi Aldama. Mavericks signed D'Angelo Russell. Spurs get Luke Cornett. Pelicans, Kevon Looney's no longer a Warrior, which will be interesting.
That was crazy.
Pistons, B-Ball Paul resigns. The Bucks just re-signed everybody except Brook Lopez. They get back KPJ, Torian Prince, and Gary Trent Jr. The Lakers' replacement for DFS is Jake LaRavia. So that's fun. Celtics signed Luka Garza. I think that this is a gap year for the Celtics. They basically told mom and dad, hey, listen, we're not going to college just yet. Leave us alone.
We're going to travel the world for a little bit.
We'll be back. We're going to travel. We'll be back next year.
We'll go to Spain.
Bulls re-signed Trey Jones. Hornets, Mason Plumlee back on the team. And the Sixers signed Trendon Watford, who's one of my favorite hustle players in the league. Don't know if he'll get burned there, but
he's going to get burned. He's going to get burned.
Yeah.
He's going to fit. Also the Pistons signed Karis LeVert.
Yes, I didn't put it down. Karis LeVert.
Yeah. Pistons also signed Karis LeVert, so that's a good That's a good pickup for them too. But a lot of moves happening. So it's crazy.
All right. Well, Kwab, that's going to do it.
Yeah, sir.
Day 1. Maybe we'll do a day 2. I'm listen, the Knicks have to hire a coach at some point. I've been saying this for the past 7 videos.
The players are gonna coach themselves.
No, listen, we're getting to the point now where I'm definitely afraid that's gonna be Rick Brunson and the team's gonna revolt.
Fire. That's gonna be fire.
You can follow the Dime Everywhere at the Dime NBA. I'm Josh Rodriguez at Josh_Rodriguez_. He's Kwab at Kwab AKS. We'll be back tomorrow, right, Kwab? I'm sure there'll be some news tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right. So stay tuned for that. We'll see you. Peace.